Okay. I think we're live. Where are we going? Check. Oh, hello. There are people here now. This is going to be interesting. I haven't done this in a really, really long time. But, let's see how it goes. First and foremost, happy St. Patrick's Day. So, I got some, let me turn this off for a second. Jameson cask makes the stout version where they aged it in Guinness bottles or Guinness kegs, barrels, so to speak. But it's delicious. So, if you don't mind, I'm gonna pour myself a nice healthy dose of Irish medicine because this is what kills the coronavirus, right? That's what I thought. And no, coronavirus still exists even in Ireland. But regardless, happy St. Patrick's Day. So cheers, everyone. And yeah, I just kind of thought I would kind of hang out here and interact with you. I mean, there's a chat room. I am so new to the streaming thing. I've never really done it, but here I am locked in my house for basically, the foreseeable future. So I kind of feel like this is the right thing to do, and there'll be a lot more of this because I also need to connect to the outside world. So this is the basic modular rig. The way I have it set up right now is I have one output. This is going directly into Pro Tools, and then the other output here is going directly into a pedal board, which you can't see, but I promise you it's there. But if I just take this signal, which is it's just coming out of a Bionic or a Hertz Donut, this Harvest Man module. So I have it just set. My panning is basically creating my mix of whether I'm going to a pedal or whether I'm going direct into Pro Tools. So on the other side, I'm just going to engage a pedal called the Eau Claire Thunder, which is this. It's my favorite fuzz pedal. It's made by a company called Dwarfcraft. They're out of Eau Claire, Wisconsin, hence the name. And Ben, or Ein, who runs Dwarfcraft, he was on the Tap Tempo podcast a couple years ago, and he's a wonderful human being, and he makes really crazy shit. So anyway, here's the raw sound, and then if I send it to the pedal, it sounds like that. It's pretty. It's not pretty at all, but that's what I love about it, and that's what I love about Ben's stuff. There's another one down here actually called the Reese Lightning. It's really gnarly. This one actually I technically gave the name to because the Eau Claire Thunder was like my favorite thing, and Ben and I were texting one day, and he's like, I want it to be something about lightning, and just because I'm a jerk, I said, well, instead of Grease Lightning, it could be the Reese Lightning, like drum and bass, and he went with it, and it actually became this thing. So if you Google Dwarfcraft Reese Lightning, you're actually going to see what this thing is, and it's a really incredible fuzz pedal. I could twist this down, I guess, but this is it's all fuzz right up here, or this is like all distortion. So let's see how that wasn't probably the wisest thing to do, but we'll see how this goes. So I anyway, I mean, we could even make a Reese just out of this Hertz donut really easily. So right now, it's pretty simple, right? But we can just detune it. Oh, right, that's because it's coming out of that output. I haven't used this thing in a while. Kind of acts like a pulse width kind of thing. But, we take these two things and, oh, that's what we have to do. Right. So, it's been a minute since I used this module in particular, so we got to give them both their own outputs. And let's do saws, because saws are always more fun anyway. So red equals saw, and this cable's not long enough. So let's go back over here. There we go. I believe if memory serves correctly, then this should follow it. So, JP, this shirt technically is, I made like 30 of them years ago, but I'm gonna make more because I think they're cool. I really like them, and I'm glad you do too. So yes, I'm just trying to figure out how to do like an online merch store and all this kind of stuff, because these are things I never had to think about before. And then I went totally independent, and suddenly you have to do all these things, and I just kind of said I don't want to. So I kind of ignored it, and now I have to get back to it. But anyway, yes, there will be a few different kind of shirts available pretty soon, and see, you're actually there, but I'm reading you right there. This is also something I have to get used to. But yes, there will be some. So that's the short answer. So here's our little Reese. But let's actually send it to a filter, because that makes it always a little bit more fun. So I'm sending it to, this is a Schwayman MMF1S. It's my favorite filter. It's a multi-mode filter. Does basically everything, but the... I mean, every filter type on it sounds incredible, to be honest, but the low pass is just, it's wonderful. So, but if we send it to the pedals, then it gets really interesting. That's actually probably too much gain. Down here too, we've got a bunch of So I've always loved this thing for kick drums, and I'm gonna drink more of this because what time? It's 8:15, and whew, I haven't really drank whiskey straight in a long time. It's kind of fun. So let's start with a sine wave, right? And this is gonna be the source of our kick. I'm gonna route it up here first, and I'll explain why later. But this, for all intents and purposes, this is going to be our starting point. There we are. And we want it to be a sine wave. And no FM yet. So this is really low. I'm gonna put it there for now. It just gets a little bit easier to hear. But then, so this is a really simple one, but we're gonna take this module called Make Noise Maths, and that's going to it's an envelope generator. They call it a math computer, I think, but we're using it as an envelope. And so we're going to take the output of this envelope generator, and we're going to send it into basically the FM input of our sine wave, which is coming from a Make Noise DPO. And we're going to need a trigger for this too. So I'm just going to get a little clock going, and this should start it off right there. And let's send, why don't we start a little sequence as well. So these are 16th notes. Let's just send the 16th notes into here. And I'm just gonna hit this kind of arbitrarily, but 1, 2, 3, 4. And that should kind of figure it out. I don't know exactly what tempo we're at, but the math will figure it out. So let's take this guy. We're going to route him up to the trigger input. And now we're going to route this. We're going to basically bring this up into the sine wave. So that's like the basic start of it. The other thing we have to do is we also have to gate the VCA, so that way it doesn't ring out the entire time. And where is the whiskey? Right here, my friend. Right here. So we need to gate the VCA, and that's why I routed the sine wave originally into this other thing. This is a VCA mixer. It's made by a company called L1. It's basically a clone of a Schweiman, but I didn't have Schweiman yet, and then I got that, and honestly, I love it. It sounds absolutely great. It's big, but it's great. So now I'm gonna take that the same signal, and you know what? I'm just gonna quickly mult it over. And that's a fun little sound. And now we need to, we're gonna take that same trigger, and we're gonna use that to basically gate the VCA. Right? So now we're just getting that hit every time it hits. It obviously needs to be a lot longer. And this is where taste comes into play. We're clipping a little. It's a little long, but whatever. But I want more attack now. And a little less laser. So I'm going to shorten the decay. Just a touch. That's what she said. I don't even know what I said, but this is what happens. And now let's make it a little bit longer. Or lower. And should probably play with this a little. That's decent. It's a little A little boomy, but we can, that's fine. But just for shits and giggles, what does it sound like through distortion? Yeah. Oh, that's fun. See, it's almost like evil R2-D2. God, that sounds fucking sick. Oh. This is why distortion is fun. Let's add more. That's a lot of gain. That's a lot of gain. That sounds absolutely filthy. So, that's our kick. Something's a little funny with it now. I must have done something when it was through the distortion, but whatever. Unless, is there a pedal that's going? If I take it over here. That is something funny. Yeah, you hear that little like soft attack? That shouldn't be happening. That wasn't happening before. Happens on every other one. See, this is kind of like the ghost in the machine. You get these every now and then. What do we have here? No, I will not be making any hardstyle tracks. No, that's just not my bag. Ripping open a wormhole? Yes, that's the idea. At one point, it almost sounded like a breathing kick snare combo. This is true. And it sounded like it belonged in the video game Doom. That would be because Mick Gordon, who is the composer of the last two Doom games, him and I have a pretty similar workflow. And we're friends. Imagine that. But yeah, we both like taking lots of different sources, be it like real instruments or guitars or anything, lots of synths, running it through all sorts of distortion pedals, or also using like various DSP things. So yeah, Mick is awesome. He's an incredibly talented guy and just lovely person. So, oh yeah, and he has a new game out, like, what day is today? Tuesday? On Friday? Go buy it, because that's what I did. We've got nothing else to do right now, so I'm gonna go kill some demons and listen to his new music, which I'm sure is gonna be awesome. So, yeah. So anyway, let's figure out why this is all fucked up. Shouldn't be. It's really pissing me off, to be honest. Let's take this out. Okay, so it's not the VCA. What if we just cycled it ourselves? And then took this out of here. Oh, I know why it's happening. I'm an idiot. It's because of the FM. This should fix it. There we go. Everything's back in the world. Buy Metaphysical. It's the best sample pack. Yes, please buy Metaphysical. That would be nice, because that allows me to buy more guitar pedals. And then I can make more weird noises that you can then buy, and then I can sell you more things again. You see how this feedback loop works? Works out great for me. Okay, But what should we add now? You know, let's take some bass back. Let's use a different synth though. Actually, this one's okay. I'm just listening to the tuning of the kick. I want it to be an octave lower. And let's get some kind of pulse going, like some kind of like a hi-hat or something like that. So I'm just gonna take one of these. I'm just gonna take a quarter note pulse, and I'm gonna send it to. You know what? I'm just gonna send it up to the VCA. And this is like the quickest and easiest way to make like a digital hi-hat ever, where you just take basically pure white noise. This is a module of all noise. It's called the quantum rainbow, but it's like all different shade of noise, like literally white, pink, red, gray, blue, purple, quanta. Blue is pretty high passed if I remember correctly. So I'm gonna put it into here into input 3. You hear that, right? So now I need to gate that. So we'll just use another envelope. What is this guy? Right. And we want a quarter note. Or should we do an 8? Let's do an 8 then. So we're going to send this here, split the signal. And then this guy is going to go to this envelope. And now we're going to take the output of that envelope and bring it back to the VCA that our noise is going through. You get the idea? Right? Let's shorten it. And you can hear the kick isn't really in time, but that's okay. We can fix it just by hitting in time. No, still not doing it. Okay. Now I've got quarter notes. And I mean, we could probably, let's leave it like that for now. Then I'm gonna also take these 16th notes and I'm gonna mult those out to that input underneath it. So let's take this over here. So now these 3 outputs will all be 16th notes out of our clock, and I'm gonna send one of them into this other sequencer called Mimetic Digitalis by my friends at Noise Engineering. So now this thing is clocked, and you can see it kind of like dancing around, which is fun. There are patterns in there that I saved. I don't really know exactly what they are at this point, but for our purposes it doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to take the output of one of them. Let's take 4. And we'll send this into a Manus Iteritas, but this one's called the Mattis Iteritas because it's mine. And we'll take that, send this guy up to our mixer up here too in number 4. So what it's doing, if we just so we can make it a little more interesting. And this is kind of fun. Just so this is actually they gave this to me because it's serial number 666. So all the knobs have been changed. What used to be called pitch is now called sin. What used to be called envelope is now called suffering. Low pass filter is called agony. Bash is called cruelty. Saw mod is called torture. Smash is called misery. Profundity is called brutality. And mode is called damnation. And then the button to trigger, the hit button, it's just called punish me. So thank you, Stephen and Chris. It's a pretty sweet one. So while we're at it, why don't we just take one of these other sequences and use that to modulate some of these inputs. So should we do torture? Or should we do... All right, let's do sin, actually. And let's make it quick. Oh, thank you. That's kind of you. It's kind of like a weird pitchy hi-hat. And, well, was that what the track was named after? Which track? If you're thinking of Pure Ruin, that's a different module. But we should do that one too. That one's fun. Actually, we should send bass to that. I'll actually show you how I made that bass line in Pure Ruin. But, okay, so here's our... It's kind of fun. So let's bring our bass back. And yeah, actually, let's do the pure... You know, let's just give ourselves a snare first. So I'm gonna take, I'm using the Make Noise Tempi again just to trigger something. I'm gonna go towards this other noise engineering thing. It's called a Simulus Atertest Alter, which is great for drum sounds and many other things. But again, it has its own VCA, so it makes it really easy just to trigger things. So send that in there, and we'll send. Actually, that was a really long one. This one's a better one. We'll take the output, send that into input 2. So you can hear it. It's very, it's in the wrong thing right now. And let's also let's send it up to an EQ so we can really crunch it a bit and make it pop out better. So this goes back into 2 now. Kind of have to like hit it in time and hope for the best. Yeah, that worked. So that's actually a little bit more fun. Yeah, I like that more actually. This kick pattern, it needs help. It's not doing it for me. So let's use a sequencer. So let's take our 16th note. Send it to the sequencer. Oh, no. No, the module they named that after my track "Punish Me," or I guess I mean it was kind of collaborative, but my track "Punish Me" is one of Chris's favorite songs, and so it just seemed perfect that when they made this, that we just call the hit button "Punish Me" because you have to punish it to make it do things. So that's why. So we're going to take out all these sequencer parts and let's put a downbeat in there. And then this is now going to be our trigger. That's kind of the fun thing with these, is you never really, it doesn't really play by the rules. It kind of has its own language, and that's what's exciting about it. That's what also keeps me coming back to it for when I want inspiration, because it's like, I was talking to Richard Devine about this a long time ago, and he's like, he loved Modular because as opposed to playing an instrument, it's like you're having a conversation with a machine. And that's always been truthfully the best way to look at it. And it's really something. So I don't know, let's add something melodic. And do I have an FM module in it too? Well, nothing is a pure FM module, so to speak. There are a lot of modules in here that can do FM. So, for instance, how I made that kick sound really distorted earlier, that was just after going to the fuzz pedal and it started to do all those kind of like weird undulations. That was FM. So, even like the bass we have now, that can totally do FM. You can do it. I mean, it's really common, this kind of stuff. So that's kind of the easy answer, I suppose. But let's add something melodic. So what is coming out here? I see. Okay. Well, I think we're gonna have to do something a little bit tricky here. Let's take the bass out for a second. And we're gonna send this up to a different filter. Let's use this guy. Maybe this is how we can kind of like cheat it a little bit. Everything is in mono. Yeah. Just to keep things simple, everything is in mono. Yeah, it's for no other reason than the modular itself is, I mean, I've got 2 modules in here total that are actually in stereo, but I tend to just record everything in mono with the modular and then, in Pro Tools and whatever, then it gets more complicated. But, that's it. So I'm just going to replace the bass over here. Actually, let's move that to channel 1. Our bass will go. The bass should be here. Perfect. That works great. Okay. So, let's try to do something melodic, right? It's actually guys ask. Are there any modules that you would recommend that you're using now that you haven't recommended before? To be honest, a lot of the stuff hasn't really changed in a while, only because like my case is totally full, and that made it very easy not to buy more things because, well, if I buy something, I have to take something out, and then I've been given a few modules, and when that happens, then I have to remove something anyway. So I'm kind of in this position of like, it's all, I don't want to change it. I really like it. So if something comes along, and actually I'm just getting one of the new Earthquaker, the guitar pedal company. They just made a Eurorack module of their Afterneath reverb. So I'm getting one of those, and I'm really, oh, thank you, Gene. That's nice of you. So I'm excited. That'll be a fun thing. So, because I actually don't have a dedicated reverb in here, but that's also because I have, like, so here's this, right? Let's send it to the pedals. And then I can just do this. So that kind of makes it easy for me. Wow, that tempi is really, the clock is totally off. It's offset by a 16th note. That's funny. But yeah, so that's kind of like the new thing I'm excited about. Other than that, like the Qubit Nebulae, I love that thing. We haven't even gotten to that yet, but I mean, I use that all the time. That's such a great toy. All of the noise engineering stuff, obviously, like the Manus-Ateritas, the Ataraxic-Ateritas, which mine I wrote an M, so it says Mataraxic-Ateritas because I'm a nerd. Basimilis we've already been using, the Loquelix Killer, yeah, these Memetic Digitalises, those are really handy, and actually, yeah, this Pura Ruina, so that's where Pure Ruin came from, that plus, you know, a breakup, but, so, yeah, actually, if you ever want to make really dark stuff, get a really ugly, a toy that creates a lot of distortion and be really depressed, and that's how you do that. But, I'm kidding. Well, I mean, I'm serious, but you shouldn't do it. That's not fun. But, yeah, actually, let's play with that. Okay, so we're going to patch it in here. And, let's get, where's the sum out? I think it's, right, it's that guy. Okay. So basically the way this thing works is, so you have different harmonics, or gain stages, so to speak. So here's 1, and that's your dry signal. 2 is this. 4 is this. 8 is that. So that's me letting the dry signal back in. That's all of them. But what's cool is you can modulate all of them. So how I did the bass line in Pure Ruina, for instance, was let's send the 16th note also to the other sequencer. Here's our 16th. So basically, I took these sequencer outputs and I assigned them to each gain stage of the Pure Ruina. Let's go to 4, take a different one. And 8 here. Isn't that cool? That's, oh. Thank you, David. That's really kind of you. Wow, I'm really impressed. Oh, and I got you and you have a system. Awesome. Well, cool. You should write back what is your favorite module that you're into right now, because I'm curious. So that's how I basically made like that really ugly, like heavy bass line in Pure Ruin. And I double tracked it. I record this thing multiple times and then just pan it hard left and right. This is something that does very well with distortion. Now the question is which, but let's do this one. That's not so fun. Let's do the Reese Lightning. Well, actually, you know what? Let's do Death Kitties. You should be able to hear me, right? Yes? Oh yeah, no, you can. It's just the noise got loud. Okay, good. I will turn it down. And what's going on? Sounds like a spy movie where everything's about to go wrong. Yeah, just about. And yeah, there's a lot of dirt, especially when you add something like this. Like that adds a lot of noise. That's kind of the fun thing of it. This noise is good, you know, it gives it character. Let's see what else is going on here. Hey Matt, I've been wondering about something for a couple months. There's like this lead sound and bleed together that sounds sort of like it might have been a Carpless Strong oscillator. That's probably a guitar. More than anything, is the kind of thing that sounds like. I have, to be honest, I mean, it was done on a guitar like this, but it was in some tuning I'll never remember, and it was just like a tappy thing, which I have no idea how to do it anymore because I don't even know what fucking tuning the thing was in. But it was basically like a tapping along over here on the neck where it's like a something like that, but you know, in that pattern. I have no idea how I did it. And ultimately, if I do take that stuff live, which I do want to do, then I have to relearn how to do it. So that's going to be fun. And then got a DPO recently. Been making all my kicks and reaches on it. Awesome. That's great. I mean, yeah, I still, as you can see, DPO for like, DPO makes the best kicks ever. And the Reese's, I mean, you can do, yeah, it's the DPO is such a good module. I mean, it was one to make noises first, and it's still one of my favorites. That and like maths, like their classics are like the ones I use more than anything. Although the Tempe, when it behaves, can be really handy. It's just not at all behaving right now. And I know that and there's a way to like restart it. I just don't know how to do it, to be honest. Yeah. I have no idea. Anyway. Hey man, hope you're doing well too. Do you have any cool compressor pedals at the moment? I had a mini Ego by Modular for a while and loved it. Yeah, so the only compressor pedal I have right now, because I do most of my compression usually inside the box at this point, or I use a lot of like distortion for compression. But here, let's just route everything to the pedals. But yeah, I have a Barber Electronics tone press, and I'll turn it on in a second. I got this because, well, it's funny, kind of going back to like that Bleed and Bleed Together. I love the band Minus the Bear, like, love them for so many reasons, and the way their guitarist Dave plays, I mean, it's all this, you know, the tappy stuff, and they have a song called I'm Totally Not Down with Rob's Alien. And the only way you can make it sound like that is with a lot of compression, and I looked it up, and the compressor pedal he's using is this Barber tone press, so I bought one too. So this is what it sounds like. Let's turn it up. So yeah, that's what I'm using for a compressor. And but usually most of that stuff is really happening in the box. Actually, I do still have a hardware compressor, but I used to have others. Oh, yeah, the Avalon actually has a compressor in it too. But I mean, I still have a DBX 160. It never gets used, honestly. Most of the compression's done internally at this point, or via. I mean, I use a lot of saturation, which functions as compression. Or if I'm tracking something, basically right underneath down there, I've got a couple of Neve 1073s preamps. And so those, I mean, those naturally just saturate a vocal, or they saturate anything, and that just, it really flattens out a lot of your peaks. So that to me is often my compressor. But okay, what else do we have in here? I love that riff, dude. Me too, thank you. Are there any helpful music production books that you've read that you'd recommend? Man, I haven't read a music production book in a long time. So the ones that I read are, I'm sure, totally outdated at this point. I actually have my computer monitor sitting on a C-Sound book to raise it higher, and it's already on a wine box, but I need it to be high, and I have a neck injury from 12 years ago, so I need to have everything be like kind of ergonomically sound. It's not always, but yeah, so that's why I have things stacked. It's just silly, but it's what I do. But yeah, book-wise, I mean, everything's on the internet now, you know? It's really hard to say, because I haven't read a book about that in a long time. Although a really good just music book in general is How Music Works by David Byrne of the Talking Heads, because it talks a lot about the physics of music and why things were written the way they were, to also because they had to think about the spaces that they're being performed in. For instance, that's why in classical music, the Romantics, it's not as intricate because they're being played in these gigantic cathedrals. So consequently, if you played a lot of fast notes, it would all blur together. So that's why you have these really like big, slow movements. That's because of basically the physical limitation of playing in a cathedral. It's information like that. So How Music Works by David Byrne that's a really cool book. I love that. Tempe, am I rushing or am I dragging? I'm pretty sure I'm rushing by about a 16th note, maybe a 32nd note. I don't know why, but it's probably my timing. I'm not perfect. Evening, Daily Patcher. I hope you're well too. Oh, or is it better to learn through trial and error? Well, both, you know? Like, I mean, I went to school for a lot of music production too, and I mean, that's not the end-all be-all by any means. Like, I learned a lot, but I came out of there, like, knowing a lot of basics and a lot of, like, learning or building blocks to build upon. And I certainly wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now had I not done the Berklee thing and all that. And my best friends to this day, most of them actually came through Berklee. So that was an incredibly valuable experience to me, and I'm very indebted to the school. But again, things have changed so dramatically, like in the last, let alone the last 5 years. But I mean, everything is different. There's all this, like, we didn't have YouTube tutorials and we didn't have streaming like I'm doing now. Like, this didn't exist back then. So, and they're kind of ups and downs to that because back then no one was showing you how to do it. Like, if I listened to like a Telephone Tel Aviv record or something like that, I had to figure out in my head how I thought they were doing it. And the way I ended up doing similar things was not necessarily the same way they were doing it. And it forced you to kind of like create your own techniques. And in that own way, I found it was almost easier to develop your own sound because no one was telling you how to do it. And I think now with the advent of, you know, like, you can go and watch someone make a dubstep bass on YouTube using, you know, Serum or Massive or whatever. And now you have all these people making the same sound. And I think I mean, a big part of that is because so many people are just given the information. And that also has to do with, you know, sample libraries and Splice, and everyone's using that. And I mean, I'm technically part of the problem because I've done sample libraries. I mean, I sell them now, and I've done libraries with Splice. And, but it's, I think the issue I have now, or where I struggle is, and this is a generalization, this is not by all means absolutely perfect, but I wish more people were touching things and playing things and messing up, playing things the wrong way and discovering the beauty of a happy accident as opposed to just, you know, this is what you're supposed to do to make this sound. So that's kind of, you know, I digressed, but here we are. So we got more. Okay. Gene says, I love the synth sounds, of course, but feel free to do more live things with your other instruments and or the random items you record sounds from. That's going to be a different night. The way I have everything hooked up now, I mean, everything is just going through basically 3 different inputs. So, I mean, my mic, I'm talking through a shotgun mic, but everything else, like, you're hearing the sound directly through this. And we'll do something like that a different night. But tonight I just figured, you know, I want to drink whiskey and talk about synths. Simple as that. And, I mean, there are other synths too. We'll do that different. We've got all the time in the world right now. We've got months of being isolated. Years even. God, I hope not. Probably months. But, I don't want to blow my load too quickly. Tonight we're doing this guy. And then, more. Mono. The internet is often confusing now unless someone that actually knows what they're talking about. Yeah, it's true. And I mean, that kind of poses an interesting question because how can you decide who knows what they're talking about or not? Because, I mean, I have my own biases, sure. But if someone's doing something totally wrong, but it's totally awesome, then they do know what they're talking about, at least as far as what they know and how to do what they do. So it's all relative. I don't really have an answer for it anymore. I mean, I think about what I like and what I value and, you know, the people I look up to. And that's kind of where I tailor my my perception or my inspiration. But just because, you know, you've got some like 18-year-old kid, you know, shredding it with, you know, presets and whatever, and, you know, some of these kids have a ton more followers and a ton more fans than I do, and like I could say they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and I would be so wrong. It has nothing to do with that. It's just, does your music connect with somebody? Are you happy doing what you're doing? Nothing else matters. Simple as that. More. Okay. Ooh, we got a bunch now. I have your splice samples. Does anything on Ice or Rhythm overlap, or am I good to grab them all? No. They're all different. So please grab them all. That would be lovely. To be honest, actually, the samples on Splice, that all came. Well, let's just say they're all about 4 years old, and they sat on a hard drive for a long time. because somebody had the rights to them theoretically, and then they never released them, and so I did it myself. But no, everything on Isorhythm, Metaphysical as well as Space Between, that's all brand new within like the last year or two. And then the Spring Pack, that was something I did in upstate New York originally about a decade ago. And it's all field recordings and recording like bees, like taking actually the same shotgun mic and going up to like wasps' nests and like banging on like fences. And it was like all this stuff in a barn and like in a farm and whatever. But I had this, it wasn't a Zoom, what was it, an M Audio micro track or something like that. That's what the recording thing was. And yeah, it was literally field recording in a field. And that became the Spring Pack. And I actually still use some of that stuff a ton, like all these like shakers and hi-hats that I made out of like hay bales and stuff like that. It's cool stuff. Yeah. Oh, wow, we're actually, okay. Oh, mono mode, you should check out Mr. Bill. He is awesome. He's a good dude. Have I thought about getting into Kima? Oh man, have I ever. The only thing holding me back is it's really expensive to get into. But I used to use a Kima system years and years and years ago, and it wasn't my own, but man, they're incredible. I would love one. I'm really curious now how they compare to what you can do internally, because 12 years ago, they were unparalleled. Nothing could, I mean, it was basically a box that was only for like hardcore sound design. Kind of, I guess, akin to like how a Eventide H9000 is now. But in that, I would love to have one of those too, and hopefully I can figure out a way to do that, because I basically have everything else Eventide has made. But including an old DSP 4000, which was like early predecessor to like a H9000. But I do have the H9 also, which I think is great. All of it's good. Like the Eventides, like I've always thought they made the best effects, basically ever since. What is it? It was Steve Vai. Yeah, because when I was in high school, that was when I was really like my budding guitar years. And I was super into Steve Vai's music. And I forget which record it was. It might have been Flexible, but it might have been Fire Garden or something, whatever that album's called, where he's got the actual ones where he's talking, where they're making all these references to an Eventide harmonizer. And then fast forward, first time I ever got to use one in person was at Berkeley, and that was immediately like, I need this. And then fast forward 5 or 6 years after that, I just started looking. I Craiglisted. I was living in New York at the time, and I wanted to see, can I find one? And I found it was a dentist in Hartford, Connecticut, and he had an H9000, or a DSP 4000. And I get over there, and he has two of them. One of them happened to be owned by Steve Vai. So that's the one I got. So it has the sticker on it that says Steve Vai on it, and the back of it was actually modified to take guitar inputs as opposed to XLRs. So yeah, it was a really beautiful full circle moment for me. So I have Steve Vai's DSP 4000, which is pretty incredible. And also, like, yeah, and it's right above this. So the Avalon 737, that was originally owned by Charlie Cooper of Telephone Tel Aviv. Like, they used that to do Map of What's Effortless, which is my favorite record by them. And Charlie sold it to me about 6 months before he passed away. So that's a really, really special piece to me, because Map is one of my favorite records ever. And to have like a piece of that is, on a personal note, that means a lot to me. So I gotta catch up now. Oh boy, I actually have to scroll up. Ooh. Okay. I'm running through a series, just finished first season. Don't jinx us. Isolated Rhythm. Do you remix tracks using the switchboard thing, the modular synth? Yeah, I mean, it's not too often I run parts of remixes through here, but I sometimes will. I mean, I'll put things through like this Qubit Nebulae to then kind of like granulize them. And, oh, speaking of, this is fun. This is just random, and Kira's gonna freak out about this. Ready? Nope, not ready. I put in the wrong one. Yeah, it only does that. That whole module does only that. Anyway, it's just fun. Let's go back. Okay. How do you think of these out-of-the-box ways to record things? For example, the drumstick on the bass that you did for that TV pitch? Just by playing around. Simple as that. It's fun. No, I mean, there's no... I mean, here's an example. The modular is going to go away for a minute, but that's okay. Just remember, these are the cables. Let's just take this. Put it in here. This should go in here. Yeah, so this is a happy accident, like case in point, where I had the right channel of that still. I just turned on the Axe Effects, which is like a guitar amp processor kind of thing, and but the right channel was accidentally still plugged in of this. I mean, it's going through DH. It doesn't matter. So I plugged it in. I just. Yeah. Okay. So, case in point, like, distorted guitar, right? So we got your drumstick, right? It's one of those things of booze too. Like I was just playing around. Just fun. But you just kind of fuck around with shit until you... I don't know. Get things. Why not? You never know what you're gonna get. It's dumb. But it's fun, you know? But I don't know, you just play with things. You never know what you're gonna get. Like for instance, okay, I bought this recently. This is an erhu, which is this like a Chinese violin, basically. I have no fucking idea how to play this thing at all, and I tried to, and it's like pathetic, you know, like it sounds like a dying cat. It's like, you ever listen to like a 3-year-old or a 3rd grader try to learn violin for the first time? That sounds better than this. But I found by kind of playing this wrong and recording it through a lot of different effects, then I got all these really interesting textures that I never would have been able to have any other way. So, kind of like, where this all comes from. I just want to play things, and I want to touch things, and I want to have a physical interaction to what I'm doing, and that's inspirational. That to me is what like inspires me, and that's how I come up with ideas. It's never just sitting in front of a computer. That honestly doesn't do a thing for me, really. This is, it turns me on. You know, I love it. I get excited. So that's. I'm just all too pleased with that. That's a really happy accident. I need to catch up. Oh, man. Okay. Wow. Okay. There's a lot to catch up on. So I'm just going to turn up a little. So there, we've got some background. Any tips for working longer and staying focused? No, not really. Take a break when you can, but you know, like if you get really into something, you're just gonna keep going. It's as simple as that. Like if you're into it, you're into it. Oh, I turned you on to Spiral Stretch, John? Oh, that's awesome, man. Those SoundTac plugins are the best. I still use like there's the old it's basically like an app version. I mean, it looks like it's from, you know, fucking Windows 95, but it's just called SoundTac, and for like doing phase vocoder tricks and all sorts of stuff like that. Even like convolving things that shouldn't be convolved. God, it's amazing. Tom Irby, I mean, he actually does a lot of the DSP for some like the Make Noise stuff now, like the Echophon and others, and Morphogene and what have you. But yeah, you know, like Tom Irby's stuff's incredible. Do I hear a difference working on hardware modules for something like VCV Rack? Yes, of course. VCV Rack is great. It's digital emulations of things that are often analog. It's not going to sound the same. Some stuff that is digital, it's very convincing, but also, again, it's the physical interaction. It's not just clicking things on a mouse. Like, when you turn something just slightly wrong, then that's the magic of it. That's the beauty. Kima sound quality is still better than VST synths. It's comparable to, yeah, I believe that. I mean, you get what you pay for. Kima's like that. Yeah. I've seen Ammon Tobin, of course, like, yeah, using the Hawken to do all that kind of stuff. And yeah, the way Ammon uses it is just amazing. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, Ammon Tobin is an incredible artist. And, God, which is the record to kind of look up? ISAM? It's all these, like, it's really avant-garde. But it's processing a lot of samples using a Hawken Continuum, which is basically, it's like a felt keyboard that doesn't actually have keys, but you can press into it, and all your gestures are very smooth, and you can do these really gestural control you can do a lot of gestural control, is a better way to put it, and they're incredible. So, and he's incredible. I saw him once at a cafe down the street from here, because he actually lives pretty close to where I live, and it was one of those like, hi, I'm such a fan, and he was like, so we all have our moments, right? But anyway, Grain Cloud is still the best granular effect processor in my opinion. Yeah, Grain Cloud's great. Man, I love them all. Like, they all sound. Reactor is like my favorite for everything in general, but like the Nebulize sounds great. Metasynth sounds incredible. C-Sound I use all the time. That sounds different. Everyone does granular a little bit different, and they all sound amazing in different ways. So, love them all. Reminds me of a dude and Joel or something like this. Cool. Cat's still unimpressed. Yeah, I mean, she's used to this. She doesn't give a fuck. Yeah, and Bunch said she's used to it. Yeah, exactly. That's a nice amp. Yeah, the Axe is great. I got really into these because, well, I mean, I've had mine now for like 9 years or 8 years or something. Like, no, long. 9 years. But I got into these because of basically like Periphery and Animals as Leaders. And this is before like I knew the guys in Periphery or anything like that. But yeah, I was still living in New York when I bought it, and it just like it solved so many studio things for me where I could have like a lot of great amps. It was better than having a plugin, and it sounds phenomenal. I just love it. I use like all of my guitar sounds are the Fractal Axe Effects, and they have a new one now called the Axe Effects 3. I still have the Axe Effects 2. I'd love a 3. But mine works, so don't fix what isn't broken. But yeah, it would be nice to upgrade into the 3 at some point. Let's go back. Someone call Nick Gordon. Play Blood and Thunder. I don't even remember how to play that anymore, actually. Everyone seems to be streaming today. That's because we're all here. No one can leave their house. Doom, Industrial, Rip and Tear. Can I talk about the new record? Yeah, I can. It's not really heavy. It's not like the alternative industrial stuff. It's like half of it's kind of clubby, techno-y, but it's still like it has its own thing. I mean, it's everything that's club focused still is like a lot of acoustic instruments, and there's a fair amount of songwriting. It really like it blends the electronic side with the live side of me, where it's a lot of real instruments for everything from cellos and obviously guitars and pianos and weird things like the Erhu. I didn't have the Erhu on the record, but you know, it's all sorts of weird stuff. Buckets from Home Depot and chains and whatever, but then that being sequenced kind of in like an electronic way. But it's kind of hard to describe, I think, but no one can really ever describe their own work adequately. So that's kind of... It should be out in like August, I think. That's what the powers that be say. So yeah, that'll be cool. But I'm really looking forward to getting it out there. There are a couple of songs in there that I really like, some of my favorite stuff I've ever done. One has Denise Reno on it, who I did Space Between with, and we did a song that's just like, it's so sexy and it's gorgeous, and it's like that holds a really special place in my heart. And then there's another song that's a bit glitchier, and then I got Carrie Leader to come on and kind of duet it with me. And that's one that is like, that's actually the last full song I finished with the record, and that one I have a really, really special connection with. So yeah, I'm really excited for that stuff. I'm really excited. Yeah, the stuff, it does sound, well, it's happy accidents. It's like, you know, just make noises and you never know what you're gonna get. So, just fun. And yeah, I was putting it also through this like Eventide rose pedal. Here, you know what? I'm just gonna put this stuff back into where we were. Oh, good, some time now. But yeah, just this pedal. Somehow it's kind of in time, so I just arbitrarily turned the delay time knob. But I love this thing. Yeah, that's like, that pedal, man, there are a lot of songs on the record that have that pedal on it, but what came out, like the dub mix of Drift, which came out in October, that's the delay on that. It's one of my favorite pedals. Kind words. Thank you, guys. Yeah. I mean, you met Emin at one of his shows in LA too. Yeah, it's hard not to have a fanboy moment with him. It's totally cool. No, it's coming out on my label Ice Rhythm. It's not a Mousetrap record. So, as far as merch goes, yes, there's going to be merch very, very soon. We're just figuring out that whole side of it because I'm good at making music. I'm kind of dumb when it comes to the other stuff. So my manager, he's better at it too, or he's better at that side of it. Long story short, yes, there's going to be merch very soon. And that would be great if you bought a shirt, so thank you. Reminds me of the simple delay I use on Logic Pro. That's cute. So I don't know, should we get back to like this thing for a little while? I mean, I still got a fair amount of this. What do we have going on here? Hang on. Cool. With conclusion, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, let's go back to, yeah, you know what, the clocking is just fucked on that. That's what it is. That's really annoying. Oh, that's because it's not being clocked. Dumb. Wow, after all that, finally in time. So we got that. Alright. So this will be a fun one to put through pedals eventually. But let's tune this oscillator up to fifths. also... Yeah, that's cool. But let's take the output of him. And where is he coming from here? Let's put him through the pedals. And let's use that same delay. That's a good one. That's alright. Got some modulation. Got some reverb. And let's do another note. It's kind of cool. Pretty cool, right? Alright, I gotta catch up now. Oh boy, there's a lot going on. Feedback loop, blah blah blah, tape delay, that's what. Oh, hi Jen. Whiskey glass, cilantro. I'm honestly academically obsessed with this music. I just started getting into instrument modeling and synthesizing guitars and vocal. Really? Well, damn. Cheers to you. That's really cool. Don't stop. And there are a lot of people who are incredible musicians you should listen to. Like, the people that got me into it were like Richard Devine, Aphex Twin, I mean, of course, Telephone Tel Aviv, but also like bands like Tool, Nine Inch Nails. Oh my god, Nine Inch Nails, The Fragile. God, that record's like, to me, just aesthetically, like the whole, like the sonic aesthetic of that album is just, that's why I do things the way I do with like recording things weird, and like that, God, so much of that stems from The Fragile. Would you ever consider doing a live performance just using your modulars? Yeah, and I've done it many times actually. Most recently I did it at NAMM. I did it on the stage that Pioneer DJ had. I don't know if they have a stream of it, but basically I was using one of their sequencers to kind of control all of it. And yeah, it was just like a little performance. But I've always found personally it's hard to do like a whole set with this because I kind of programmed this just to like do one idea, one track. And then you can't just suddenly like unplug everything and just do it all over again for another one. Some people have these incredible, gigantic modular rigs, like Anthony Baldino. I mean, the way he does it, he brings basically like each one isn't as big as this, but he brings 3 different things, and then using that, then he can create like a 45-minute long set. And then I've seen Richard Devine do it, where he's got a sequencer called the Eloquencer by a company called Winter Modular, where he can basically program a lot of set into it. So then he's just kind of like performing it. The way I have my stuff set up is kind of just to like jam on the fly. I don't have much computerized stuff in here where I can like save like different patterns and all that. Because this is a studio tool to me. So I'm usually sending like all my information like out of Pro Tools directly through MIDI, and that's how I use it. But like Anthony and Richard, you know, the way they perform with this is absolutely incredible, and it boggles my mind, truthfully. So, okay. Like in the club, David James. Yeah, it's just a different vibe. Reminds me a bit of Angel by Massive. Well, yeah, they liked a lot of cool stuff. Massive Attack rules. Everyone's over 30 because we have good taste. Oh wow, you only started going to clubs 2 years ago. Oh wow. You guys are cool. Hey Brizzy baby, hey man, how's it going? Am I ever bringing back my podcast, Matt? Well, Brizzy baby, yes. Funny you should say that. So the reason why it didn't come back in time is because it's a lot of work. And I was doing it all by myself, and it just became a lot. Now I have all this theoretically, like, not endless time, but I've got a lot of time where I'm just by myself. Until all this quarantine stuff ends, then can't really, be seeing a lot of people. I'm healthy as could be, but I'm trying to be the match that removes himself from the line of matches kind of thing. So my manager actually called me today to say, you should start doing tap tempo again and do it digitally, and just do it over video interviews and stuff like that. And coincidentally, because I'm just using a GoPro for this, which is, fine for streaming, but for actual, like, recording quality, it's not the best. So I bought a camera, and, like a mirrorless that I could use for video, because I have a Nikon DSLR that can only record 10 minutes of video at once, and that kind of defeats the purpose. So, anyway, yes, within the next couple of weeks, I would say look out for some tap tempos, and it's going to be easier to do it with people also, because I don't have to get them to come over and all that thing. We can all do it from the comfort of our homes. So it's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be probably as personal, but because there is something to be said for, like, I always wanted to do it in person because it's intimate. And it was fun because then we would just kind of get drunk together, and sometimes those things would, the podcast might end after an hour and a half, but there were a lot of times where we went to the bar after that, and then suddenly it was 1 o'clock in the morning, and we started at, like, they came over at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. I made some very close friendships during those days. But yes, so Tap Tempo is coming back imminently, so that's good. Okay. That live drunk tap tempo with you. Holy shit. I'll have to tell Umi that. The NAMM tap tempo got you into Kundalini yoga. Oh my god, that's amazing. Wow. I gotta tell him that. That's hysterical. That was such a fun moment and so impromptu. Like, it was gonna be like 4 of us. It was like, you're here, you're here, you're here. Yeah, just everyone get on stage. Why not? Yeah, I love Nine Inch Nails, Aphex Twin, and Richard Devine. I should send you a track of mine. I basically sound like boom bap, Nine Inch Nails. I don't know what boom bap means, but okay. Damn it, Matt, it's number 1 the East Coast. What's number 1? Nice, looking forward to it. Maybe just do how Mr. Bill started and just do it in your free time. No, I mean, we're gonna do it a little bit better than that now. I don't like being lazy about it. If I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna like do it. So yeah, it's gonna be done for real. It's necessary. And then and man, what was the last episode? Last official was, I'm not gonna say because I'm embarrassed, but it was with Haruna, and it was too long ago. So that's my answer to that. So, I need whiskey. Who else is drinking whiskey? Or how are you guys doing St. Patrick's Day? Because I'm Irish. My family's Irish. And I don't get to be Irish with anybody tonight. Which is why I am being Irish with you guys in spirit. Stuff's not bad. Actually, I really like it. What do we have going on here? Oh, it's 1 a.m. in the East Coast. Yes, yes. Actually, no, it should be about 12:40, but I understand. So yeah, so there's that. Should we make just like fucked up kick drums? That sounds fun. Let's do that. So let's go back here. Okay. So let's make it nice and long. And let's make the pitch decay longer. And we should put this through the guitar amp. Yes, we should. So you're going to go in here. You, my friend, Mr. Red Cable, you're going to come back in here. All right. So that's that. Now we got to send this to the pedals. Zoom. Yeah. Yes. I had a friend do a Google Hangouts happy hour. Where's my green? Oh, wait. I'm drinking. I gotta catch up. Yes, today was indeed St. Patty's Day. Mind Haze IPA. That's not bad. That's the Firestone Walker, right? Yeah. That's a pretty solid hazy. Where's your green? Here. I mean, I've got a green. 1, 2, and just gonna cut the sound. 3 greens. If this isn't a product pitch, I don't know what is. A Maxon OD808, a patch cable, and whiskey. I gotta hook this back up now. And we're back. Okay. But yeah, like Jen said, yes, I'm probably going to be doing it over Zoom, also because Zoom records all the stuff. So, oh hi Coda. because you can record the video as well as recording all the different multi-tracks and everything. So Zoom seems like a really good solution for that. I'm not, super knowledgeable about the enterprise kind of stuff, but I am learning. So yeah, see, they're born in California, and he's technically half Siamese. So, I mean, there's like a 50% chance he's probably half Hispanic and half Siamese, just based on, population of California. But he's all cat, I promise you that. And he's hanging out. But anyway, we'll be doing Zoom. And, you've been doing heavy resampling of elements through the many, many layers of effects, amps. Yep, that's the way. And sometimes when you're working on a remix of someone in a techno track, I do this either to the main kick or just sub-elements. Oh, yeah. A Tale of Two Kitties, Drunk Cat Time. I'm glad you guys are into it. Okay, let's make this fucked up. So, there are a lot of ways to do this. You know what? This will be fun. So actually, let's take this kick first and put it through a delay so we can comb filter it. I guess we should keep that in there just in case. But let's take a different one. Let's take it out, put it here, put you back in here. Ain't that something? So that's gotta be really fun when you put the distortion. snack time. That truth. Split the signal and run everything through. Can't really do that on this Introduction to the science. How would you comb filter a kick with delay? Well, a delay is based on comb filter. That's how. Yeah, it's just a really short delay on create a comb filter. Settle down. Oh, that's bullshit. Gnarly. Gate the ending. Good. Kind of fun. I dig it. The use of reverb. stuff for now. You're gonna come from here. Now, what are we going to gate it with? Let's try this guy. What does it sound like without distortion? We need a better trigger for that. Where are you coming from? You're right here. No, let's just do 16th notes. Why not? Now put the random back into the... It's okay. It's not that great. Alright, I gotta catch up. Oh boy. Oh god. A lot of catching up. Okay. Sign. Angry bear. Yes, that is true. Cat tripping balls. Also true. Drunken Irish. Not there yet. Thanks, Nello. I mean, yeah, the Fix guys, they really like distortion too. So, I have seen Clayton's studio. Blue Stolly is a good friend of mine. Sounds like an action movie trailer or horror. I've done trailers for both, so that would make sense. Now that sounds like palm muting. Yeah, kinda. Whoa, what's that other sound? I don't know anymore. Kind of just play and, hopefully you record it. You get a lot of happy accidents, but who knows? Don't feel stupid for asking a question about comb filtering you didn't know. There's nothing to be ashamed of that. You do it and then you learn. Well, yeah, I mean, I recycle some of my own samples every now and then because, they're mine and I like them. I'm not going to use someone else's samples because it doesn't feel appropriate to me, but, and then I know, yeah, they're using my snares too because they're good. Yeah. Yeah, Vengeance packs you came across. Yeah, that sounds about right because the Vengeance packs were often sampled from other people's records. They haven't been able to do that for a long time though, I believe. Take Care Mono Mode. Thomas really likes those crazy artistic films and also did the soundtrack. Which Thomas are we talking about? But, yeah. Oh man, we've been doing this for 2 hours. Go us. I feel like now is probably an appropriate time to wrap this up. So, thanks for hanging with me tonight. This made quarantine not so bad. And, yeah, we'll do this again. So, be safe, stay well, do all the appropriate things to stay healthy. And, I'll be seeing you doing one of these again pretty soon. So, have a good night. Happy St. Patrick's Days. Cheers.